Hi, you guys, and welcome back again. Super excited about the growth that we're having right now. I really just can't believe. People, I have no idea how they're finding me. Um, I don't know, but maybe it's from the algorithm is showing the videos I have more, but which I know is happening, and it's people or the subscribers like you guys that are watching the video. Maybe you're watching it longer. All that stuff is triggering something on the algorithm, and it's super exciting. Somebody said they'd like to see 100,000 subscribers by February. Man, dude, that's something I've been trying to do for a while. I wasn't ever, when I first started, I wasn't worried about subscribers. I just was like, dude, I'm just putting up my content. I don't care. Talked to some of my friends back east. He's like, you were doing it for the right reasons, and I'm still doing it for the right reasons. It's just my needs have changed a little. So, anyway, let's talk about building a car on a dime store budget. How are we going to do it today? And then I think I'm going to touch on some stuff maybe some of you guys aren't going to want to hear, but some of you guys are definitely going to want to hear it. And we're going to talk about what's happening after that. And the best way for me to tell you about how to build a car on a dime store budget is tell you guys from my experience. Back when I was 18, 19, 20, when I was in high school, 16, I was building a car. 16 years old, 18 years old, working in a little body shop. Between 18 and 19, I can't remember, it was in there, 18, 19, 20, I worked in a custom paint shop doing flames, graphics, all that stuff, okay? Nobody does that at that age. Most guys are way older than that are doing that sort of thing. You don't learn that, unless you're eager. When I was 10 years old, 10 years, Christmas time. Of course, we just passed Christmas time. Is and it's kind of a rough one for me, but it's all right. It just happens, whatever. But Christmas time, Mom comes up, Michael, what do you want for Christmas? And she says, don't you want some toys? Go look in the Sears catalog. Didn't you guys ever do that? Sears catalog. You went in there, it's gone. Sears is gone. What a drag. We'll miss that. Those are things that were really cool. The wish book. You look in the wish book or the Montgomery Ward's wish book. And you looked in there and you went, what do you want for Christmas? And I said, Mom, I don't want any toys. I'm like 10. I'm pretty sure I was 10 years old. I said, I don't want any toys. She goes, what do you want? I said, Mom, I want tools. She's like, tools? I go, yeah, because if I have tools, I can make anything. But my dad had no tools, nothing. No tools, no money. We were poor. My dad worked for the welfare department. He was I don't know what they call it. I guess he at one point he was a supervisor. He hated that, but he was a supervisor, and he retired as an auditor or something like that. I don't know. But he worked for the welfare department, and let me tell you something. You want a bad job? You work for the county welfare department. You don't make anything. I mean, they give away money there, so they're not giving you any money. So, tools. That's what I asked for Christmas. You ever done that? Well, I got a lot of tools. I've invested tons of my money in my life into tools. And that's one thing you just have to have if you're going to do a project, especially if you're doing it on a dime store budget. You have to have tools. You know, a couple of the best places, I'll put links in the description. The best places I've found to buy tools now are on the internet, on Amazon. There's tools with great deals on Amazon. There's great deals on Vevor, Vevor. I get stuff from them. Trying to think of what I've got. I got here, like this thing here for the drill press. Super cool. They have things. And there's a coupon. Yeah, they gave me a small amount, something. It's not much. It's nothing to cry, but it's great. You know, it's really helpful if you use those links. So use the links. Look at stuff on their website. See what you can find. Of course, Harbor Freight Tools, another huge resource to building your car on a dime store budget. All right. So if you don't know about Harbor Freight, I mean, you guys that are overseas, you're gonna probably like the Vevor. You're gonna probably like stuff on Amazon. If you're in the U.S., definitely Harbor Freight is a good resource for getting tools. I mean, man, you can't believe the Icon tools, stuff like that they have now are really good quality and cheap. Now, in comparison to the big brands like Snap-on and stuff like that. So the best way I can tell you, and then again, I really want to talk to you guys about what's happening out there that's different today, that's not like it was. And so we can go by past experience. Like, people invest in the stock market and they go by past experience, and they go by, okay, in the past it's always done this. So no, you have to take the past and then add what's going on right now to the equation, and then you can come up with an accurate synopsis of what you can do. It's just what you have to do. So all those places are great resources for tools. Let me tell you the story about my friend Kenny, who was when we were in high school. And he used to come to the fence of the. I used to go to the auto shop, and I would work on my car at auto shop. And then when I got home, that's another excellent resource, is you could go to a community college and see. I mean, sometimes they have, like, if you're on low income, you can go there and they may have a way to get in for free, or some really low rate to go in, and you can work on your car there and use their tools. So, I mean, I did that. Even though I had tools, I used to do that just for fun. So, Kenny used to come to the fence, and he says, you know, I want to build a bug. All right. And so he used to come every day and watch me work on my car, talk to me a little bit between classes. And so one day he comes up and he goes, I said, well, we got to find a project car. Back then it was about $300, that's a lot of money back when you're in high school, back in, trying to think, about late 70s, early 80s. Okay. It's a lot of money. $300 was not easy to come up with. I said, you need about $300 or so. You can find a bug for that, and you can work on it yourself and build the car. And he goes, all right. So I don't know, it was a good 3 or 4 months went by. And so Kenny came by and he bought a Beetle, a 63. Wasn't a rag top or anything, hard top, straight body, no rust. Back then it was easier to find with no rust. Now you're gonna have to deal with rust for sure. And so he bought this Beetle, brought it home, and I'd never really been to his house. He said, come over, let me look at it. I'm all right, he'll come over, we'll check it out on the way home from school. And I went over and checked it out. Kenny ended up being a good friend for a long time. I still have contact with him. In fact, last I heard, he put a deposit on another Beetle. So if he comes around, he'll be in one of the videos coming up. So I don't know if he's going to continue with it. He's, you know, everybody's tight on money right now. Everybody is. It doesn't matter who you are. And everybody's watching all their money go out the window. So it's happening. So anyway, Kenny was a Section 8 guy. Now, let me tell you this, and I tell people this stuff a lot. You'd never know if you looked at his house. He didn't live in filth. You don't need to live in filth if you're Section 8. If you have no money, you don't need to do that. Okay? You clean. His mom would clean everything. Even if they didn't have cleaners, you would scrub the counter. And you made everything clean. Their house was spotless, inside and out. They did the floors with rags on their hands and knees. No excuse, all right? So Kenny has this Beetle in his garage. They had a little house they rented, you know, or they actually was Section 8, so it was paid for by the government. And he had this Beetle in the garage. Used to go there all the time. And Kenny took this Beetle and he was like, hey, how do I do body work? I don't know how to do it. I said, well, look, use a block of wood, you know, and since we had wood shop, which of course, again, we don't have that anymore, what the hell, you know? I mean, oh, that's not important, you know. Only thing important today is computers, you know. It's like, what is this? In the U.S., you guys overseas, this is what's happening here. It's crazy, all right? Gone. So Kenny, I go, take a block of wood and get it as straight as you can. So I'm going to show you what we made right here. So Kenny took his block of wood and, like I told him, take it to the planer, plane it out. It was just a 2x4. And this is my old one. Of course, I dropped it, broke the handle. This used to have a handle on it, but you just grab it right here and grab it right there. This was this is my longboard from the 80s, early 80s. Okay. And so what he did is we took this and I said, you get this sandpaper from this longboard sandpaper from the paint store. Okay. And we couldn't make a clip like that, right? So I just told him, just put it up on the ends and we'll put thumbtacks in it. Put thumbtacks in it to hold the sandpaper on there. All right? That was his longboard. He had a block of wood, just a 2x4 on its end, and that's what he used to sand all of his body work. And I'll tell you the results. So Kenny sanded the car down with that. He sanded the whole thing. And, you know, of course, when you use the longboard, I showed him, you know, you have to cross sand, go back and forth, cross sand. And, you know, you go this way, and then you go this way, right, on all your panels. Look for low spots and find all the low spots and use a block of wood and either a ball peen hammer or a claw hammer. And when there's a low spot, you know, hammer it out. High spot, knock it down. And then when you get to the end, you know, take your drill. And he had I don't know where he got the drill, yard sale, something. You know, you can find this stuff if you look around. It's a little harder to do now. Okay. But yard sales are awesome. You can go to yard sales and find used tools for super cheap if you have no money hardly. I mean, you can buy them for pennies sometimes. And so he went to the yard sales and found I think it was a yard sale, and he found a disc sander. And then what he did is when he found a low spot in his V-dub, like in the roof, he had some low spots and stuff. So he would, you know, knock it out from the inside, no headliner in, straighten it all out. Use the hammer, and I showed him just roll the hammer on the bodywork. Don't try and hammer it, like you don't beat on it with like a hammer. Just you roll the hammer over the high spots and then you know, knock it from underneath with your block of wood, and that's how you're going to do your body work. And that's what, so he built the whole car. It took him with basically very, very little money. He did small little jobs here and there, mowed grass or whatever. Again, and you're not going to get that sort of thing today because inflation, man. It's a bad situation all over the world. Okay. So Kenny, he went ahead and he spent time and just built that whole car. And after 5 years, little by little, buying parts one thing at a time, doing all that body work by himself. I used to go over and he goes, man, you know, I got a little high spot. Can you feel it? And I go over and start feeling the body. And I'm like, dude, there's nothing there. I mean, he goes, yeah, there's one little spot right here. And he was finicky. He got it all like perfect. And I go, man, it's ready for primer. I said, we need to primer it and then sand the primer. And that's just what you're feeling right there is the thickness of primer. It's very, very minor stuff he had. It was all the way down to, you know, his body was all straight, and he did it all with that block of wood. That's all it took, okay? Doesn't need to be that complicated. You can do your welding. If all you have is a flux core welder, you can do it. You can lap it, tap it, and fill it. There's no excuses, really, guys. You know, there's so many avenues we have now that, you know, you can do it. I mean, but again, there is excuses. I mean, it's crappy, all right? It's stuff going on right now just really irks me. It just doesn't need to be this way. So anyway, Kenny goes and he finishes the whole car. I mean, he gets it over, he gets it ready to paint. Finally, I come over, he brings it over, he buys the paint. Took years to save money for the paint. Brings it over the house, and I painted it for him. And then we got done, and he kind of just looked at the color. He's a real particular guy. He looks at the color, and he goes, man, you know, I don't know if I would like the color I picked. He was, it was a little grayish, kind of blue, but mostly gray, and, you know, maybe a little bit of, it was definitely blue. But he just didn't like it. He didn't, something about it, he just wasn't going for it. Okay? So then he sanded the whole car down again after it's all painted, and it looked super straight. I mean, we're talking, did everything by hand. If you do it by hand, it's going to come out straighter. So then Kenny goes out, and another school teacher, again, we had high school, Rubidoux High School in Riverside, had a body shop class, you know, because it was a poorer area. Oh yeah, you poor people, you need to fix cars, but you rich people, no. It's just like dividing the classes, just idiotic. I don't even understand it. Okay, so it should be everywhere. We should have this stuff in every school. We shouldn't leave this stuff out and figure that it's not important, because it is. Balancing your checkbook, fixing your car, all that stuff is, everybody's going to have to do that, you know, and it makes people fall victims to rip-offs and stuff. So anyway, he goes out. See the oval window behind me? He goes out, and this color right here is called Strato Silver. A lot of people ask me, what color is it? Strato Silver, original color. He goes out, and Herb Weber from Rubidoux High School painted the car again. And I saw it, you know, when it was all done, and it was absolutely perfect. Every panel, he just way overshot. I mean, he actually got it, it was so nice that when he got it done, he sold it to his cousin because he was afraid to drive it. Now that's the problem with doing such a nice job, is he built the whole car with very, very, very little money. Very little money. And back then, I don't remember which magazine. It was not Hot VWs. It was not VW Trends, but there was like 4 different magazines back then. It got the cover at 63 Beetle, Strato Silver, same color as this one. Got the cover of the magazine. That's what it took. Hard work. It took sacrifices. You know, it took, you know, having the willingness to make it happen. But what has changed about that today? Let's talk about this, because this bugs me. Okay, this irritates me. It turns me, and because it affects the whole classic car industry. It affects the poor, and people go, "Oh, well, you're just some guy. You're high net worth guy." Not true. Okay, you don't know what it's like. You know, I know what it's like. You know, I've gone Christmas, like I said in the other videos, I've gone 2 Christmases in a row with no Christmas tree for my kids. Let me tell you, I don't ever want to do that again. Never. I run, I work as hard as I can to make sure that never happens. But when I see government that's tone deaf, you guys know what tone deaf is? Somebody who can't hear music, okay? It's playing all around you. It's playing all around you. Governor of California is tone deaf. He does not listen to the people of the state. Not listen to it. 75% of people in this state, 75% voted for Proposition 36 to make crime a crime again, because he took it away. And he's like, so who cares? Next, let's talk about something else. No. In 2016, and people still stand behind this guy. I don't understand. I don't understand. In 2016, the state of California had a vote for keeping the death penalty and expediting it. First thing he says when he gets in office, and got reelected, I have no idea. I don't know. I don't understand the mentality of it. I think people are just putting their blinders onto this stuff, okay? He says, I will not kill anyone. I heard it right out of his mouth. But yet that's what the people asked for. You know, the CARB, okay? Here we are. You know, people are struggling. People are having a hard time making it. You got government that's doing stuff to businesses to get them to stop, basically not do business anymore. You know, these idealisms, they say, okay? You know, it's going to piss some people off, but that's all right. If we just make a few people happy and a few people upset, let's just be real about it, okay? Because this is the way it is. But, you know, they go, okay, we're raising corporate taxes because all these billionaires, you know, they're getting rich and we need to raise. Okay, what does that do? Raise corporate tax. All the companies have to pay a higher tax amount. So what do they do to the consumer? Raise the price. Really effective way to increase inflation, in addition to other reasons we have inflation, okay? So we got that going on. And of course, at least we have a different president coming in with a different outlook. Whether you like him or not, I know he's going to change some of those things. And it's going to take time. It is not going to happen overnight. I was in Costco, okay, and I'm really aware of the surroundings around me, you know, and I'm listening to these people talk, and this guy goes, "Oh man, I wonder when the prices are going to come down." And I can tell the guy's a Trump supporter and stuff, and you know, and I'm good with that. Okay, whatever. And he thinks, "Well, I wonder when the prices are going to come down." And I'm just looking. They aren't. You can't just light a match and have this stuff go away. You can't just wave a magic wand and get pricing to come down. People go, "Well, it's corporate greed. There's corporate greed going on. There's corporate greed." Okay, yeah, maybe there is a bit. Okay, but let me tell you the best way to fight corporate greed. Guess what it is? Competition. How do you have competition when you're suppressing businesses by raising their taxes and their fees and their licensing and all that other stuff? The competition isn't there. So this whole direction, the places like California, you know, a lot of places in the U.S. are taken, like raising minimum wage. You know, what did that do? So California does this stuff. They raise minimum wage. Okay, soon as they started raising minimum wage, what happened to me? I had to raise my guys' rates. I had to pay everybody more because everything went up in price. It was even more inflation. And what do? 2025, raise minimum wage again. Raise it again. Oh, we're going to help the poor. No, they're not. They're not doing that to help the poor. I mean, maybe some of the people believe that that's what they're doing. Some of the guys in California that are the assembly people and stuff like that, maybe they haven't good intentions. But the people higher up, they know that raising minimum wage increases the tax revenue to the government. Guaranteed. You got a guaranteed higher wage to people, and they're going to make their payroll tax on all that money. The same way that they did when they were trying to get rid of Uber, when they were saying Uber employees need to be employees. Why do you think they want them to be employees? Well, because they're trying to make they're trying to make them independent and them to have health insurance and them to have they want to have health insurance for all. Well, I'm actually for that. We'd be great if we could have health insurance for everyone. I know there's a way to do it. I'll talk to you guys later about that. But listen, so they don't really want to. Because they want them to have health insurance through their work. That's how much baloney could you believe? So they're sitting there saying all these things. We want them to have health insurance. They want them to have employees. One or two people have. You see him on the news, the same guy over and over, different places in the news, talking about wishes he had health insurance because I don't have any health insurance. Well, you can get covered California, no problem. I don't understand. So you don't have health insurance, okay? But you can't get the one through the government. Okay, that's out there too. So don't sugarcoat it. Tell me a bunch of crap because I'm not into that. All right. So here's the deal. We're doing it for health insurance for the people. Okay? No, that's not why they're doing it. They want the payroll tax money. It's government greed. Government greed. And we got guys in the classic world right now. We got guys in the classic world who support these guys. Okay? Listen, CARB wants, is evaluating. They're not making laws yet. Evaluating whether you should have sanctuary cities that can have emissions-free zones for classics. So you can't drive your classic car in let's say LA decides, oh, we're emissions-free zone. You can't drive your Classic here. They want to dictate that. They haven't said they are going to yet. But believe me, look at how things have gone. You know, and I'm not against CARB 100%. CARB did some great things in the 70s. You know, we had some bad air here in California. It was awful, all right? Southern California, when I was a kid, you could not breathe. You couldn't play outside a lot of times in the summer. It was extremely bad. And by the 90s, that was over. That's done. In the 2000s, pretty darn clean air. Not bad. But we're going for this ridiculous number 0. And there's no such thing. People go, well, solar panels are 0. Oh yeah? Okay, they're 0. All right? Solar panels 0. I have solar panels. I believe in solar panels. I think they're great. Okay? But they're not 0. Nothing is 0. Because solar panels, what are they made with? Crude oil? Yep. They're made with crude oil. Yes, they are. All right? A lot of crude oil in those things. That's in there. You're not going to get rid of it 100%. Yeah, we should cut down our emissions for sure. Be great if a lot more people that could afford them get electric cars. It would be great. But is it you have to shove it down everyone's throat? No, you can't. Like this guy right here, this work truck. If I was carrying all that stuff in an electric work truck like that, my range would go to total crap. All right, all that weight. Okay, pulling this thing over here, pulling that sucker. All right, that heavy 4,000 pound lift. All right, my range is done. You know, the truck's rated at, let's say, 250 miles. Pulling that lift, put all that weight in the truck, it's 100 miles. Now, let's say I go all the way to San Diego every day to work. Okay, and see, they're shoving this down people's throat, and they want to do this nationwide. You guys, this is not just California. There's people pushing this agenda, and let's hope. I don't know. You know, Trump. There's a way he can shut it down, and there is, but there isn't. Okay, CARB needs to be shut down. They just need it. They've done their job. They did a great job for a while. It's time to move on. It's time, you know, to come up with some federal things that make sense and just do away with CARB and get rid of all these entities that are just turning it into a money scam. They're taking money. All right. So what does that mean? It means I have to charge. Let's say I was doing a job in San Diego. I'd have to drive halfway there. Couldn't drive it all the way through my range. I have to charge it at a supercharger, some sort of a level 3 charger. I've looked into all this stuff, you guys. I know about electric cars and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm not against them. I think they're great for some people. But I have to charge up, and then every day maybe charge up on the way home and come home. Well, every time you use a fast charger, and guys are going to fight me, tell me, oh no, they don't do this. No, when you start using superchargers to charge your vehicle and charging it at a faster rate, you start shoving that battery full of energy quickly. The degradation of the battery, it degrades. And what that means is, instead of a 250 mile range when the truck's empty, which it's never going to be empty, right? Me as a consumer, I'm not going to be driving around an empty truck. I'm a contractor. I'm not going to be driving around an empty truck. So, you know, these ideas that somebody has got false narratives. I'm just going to tell you one more false narrative that people are saying, you know. Elon Musk could liquidate And if we had a wealth tax that he could pay for health care for all, if you think that, you know nothing about business. Okay, a better example is probably Amazon with Bezos, all right? Same thing, people say the same thing. Bezos could buy health care for all if he liquidated, sold off some of his shares of his company, just a few shares every year, you know, whatever. False narrative, 100%. I'll tell you why. If you have a business, it takes working capital. It's the same as a guy like me, small business, okay? If I do a job, okay, we just add zeros to this, okay? If I do a job, I go out for a customer, I do a job, I do the work, I bill it to the company, I send it to them, they send me they send me a PO, I send it into them. They give me terms, net 60. That's what my typical terms are. So I send the invoice in right away because I know it's going to be 60 days before I get paid. So I send the invoice in, the company, 60 days later, I get paid. Well, if I'm doing business every day, by the time 60 days comes up, it's a hell of a lot of money. The same thing with Amazon. They have warehouses everywhere. There's tons and tons and tons of warehouses all over the place. Well, they don't need those. He shouldn't have all that. Well, it doesn't. Do you buy from Amazon? Okay, then just be quiet. Listen to me for a second. All right. So you go and 60 days or whatever, and you have to have working capital. That's what these guys have. They have net worth. Does it mean that it's money in their bank account? They can just go and write a check and pay for your health care. Do you think that's what they have? They don't. If you understood that, they have to have that working capital to stay in business. And every year as they grow and get bigger, and they just do because what they're offering is incredible for the society. You order on Amazon, you got a package a couple days later. It's convenient. There's a ton of other businesses that are in network to Amazon that make money from Amazon. Okay, same thing with all these big corporate guys, real billionaires. All right. Do we need multi-billionaires? Not really. But it doesn't affect you. And guys are like, oh, well, they could just pay for. If they had to liquidate their working capital. So in other words, the boat I'm in right now is I used to have a lot of money in working capital. I don't have it anymore. So if they came to me and said, hey, we've got this big program for you. We've got 200, 300 banks that we need you to go and do wall repair and painting and all this stuff, okay, to them. I would not be able to finance it. The same thing that would happen on another level with a company like Amazon. They can't do it. These companies, they need that working capital to operate in the level that they're in. And every year when they get bigger, they need more. And that's why their net worth grows. And so if you took their net worth and you said, okay, I'm going to put a wealth tax on them, and you took that money and you took all that money out of their working capital, they would cease to function very quickly. And, oh, well, I got them back. They deserved it. These guys worked their whole lives for that. Amazon started in the garage. And he busted his ass. What's his name? Bezos busted his ass with making nothing, I'm sure, in the beginning. And to build a company to that level takes a tremendous amount of effort. It takes a tremendous amount of your time. It takes a tremendous amount. So you think, oh yeah, for some reason, you deserve to take their money. There's another way to do it. There's another way. The only way you get money out of people, and the only way you can do it fair, is to have a tax on their estate. When they pass enough tax on their estate, and this is another Republican idea. Go figure. Tax the estate. That's the only way you can do it and have it work. But it's still not going to pay. I mean, Amazon guy probably can write, I bet you anything, if he liquidated all his bank accounts that he has a liquid, that he could probably get money. I bet you he could probably write a check for 10 or 15 million. That's probably about it. That's a lot of money, but that's what he probably has liquid, even though he's a billionaire. Same thing with, Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, all these guys, okay? They don't have money in their bank. They don't just, oh yeah, let me write the IRS a check. False narratives, guys. It really is. And the Democrats are using these things to get people to vote for them. And it's false. It's, to me, I don't know. Everything in my video is my opinion. If you don't like it, that's fine. If you like it, that's fine too. But everything in this video is my opinion. It's what I see. And maybe I'm completely wrong. I might be just absolutely wrong. But I really think I'm right. You can always comment below. I'll talk to you guys in the next video, and I hope this didn't turn you off, but that's reality for me. All right, I'll talk to you in the next one. Please like, share, and subscribe.